Hello and welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast, brought to you by the Last Man Standing with loserpool.com. As ever, I'm your host, Harry Symeou. I'm back from my holidays, and this is our first live stream after my return, and we'll be looking at the Europa League draw. Hello, guys, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Harry Symeou. And as I said, I'm back from my holidays, ready to go, looking forward to getting back onto things. Had a little bit of a break, a nice couple of weeks away in Cyprus with the family, relaxing, chilling out. Of course, keeping tabs on the football. Did a couple of videos here and there, Arsenal related, of course, which you can find on this YouTube channel. So if you did miss those and you want to catch up on them, very easy. What you need to do is scroll back through the channel and you'll find those videos there. Now, this is the first of two streams today. I'll be putting out a stream later on where I'll be talking about the North London derby. I was on TalkSport last night, straight back off the plane and straight onto the radio so you can hear my chat with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy. I'll leave the link in the description after the end of this stream so you can check that out too, hear my prediction. But I will be coming to you with another stream a little bit later on where I'll be going in depth as to how I'd like to see the Arsenal set up for that one, and I'll be giving you a prediction too. Right, but let's start off by talking about the Europa League draw. That is what we are here to do. So the draw has just been completed. I thought about doing a live watch along. I know a lot of people do that, and a lot of people like that sort of thing, which is absolutely fine. But I guess my way of thinking was those UEFA draws, they take so bloody long, don't they? They do lots and lots of bits and pieces in between. It takes around about half an hour to get started. They had Ashley Cole and I think it was Paulo Ferreira on today, picking out the balls, and Ashley Cole pronouncing the team names like the absolute nonce that he is, getting them all wrong. It was quite funny, actually. But yeah, I decided against doing a live stream for the Europa League draw purely because there's so much, protocol that they need to go through, etc., etc. And I figured if you're watching the draw, you're watching it anyway. If you're not, then you probably don't want to hear somebody rambling on about it as well. But let's start off with Arsenal's group, of course, which is the most important, and that is Group F. Now, the Gunners have been drawn against German side Eintracht Frankfurt, Standard Liège of Belgium, and Vitória SC of Portugal. It's a group that you'd expect Arsenal to progress in. It's a group that you expect Arsenal to win, I think. We know that there's a good chance we'll see some of the younger players, some of the youth coming through and getting opportunities in that competition. But it's a group, like I said, that we should progress from. Being the top seeds in Group F, we were always going to get that type of group. I think if you look at Manchester United's group as well, just to give you an idea of, how it does turn out when you're a top seeded side. Manchester United take on Astana of Kazakhstan, Partizan of Serbia, and AZ Alkmaar of the Netherlands. Wolverhampton Wanderers, of course, making their first appearance in my memory anyway. I'm sure they've been in European competition before. They're a historic club, but in terms of recent memory, they're in there and they're in pot three. Well, they were in pot three. They'll take on Besiktas of Turkey, Braga of Portugal, and Slovan Bratislava. So it'll be interesting to see how Nuno Espirito Santo's side cope with the demands of playing in the Premier League and the Europa League. It's a real tough one, isn't it? Lots of Sunday games, lots of Monday games due to our participation. Ideally, I don't really want to be in this competition, but we need to get back in the Champions League, and it offers us another route, another way of doing that. So for the time being, we'll just have to put up with it and take it. Thursday night football it is. Now, when you look at Arsenal's group, of course, the team that stands out is Eintracht Frankfurt, German outfit, really strongish side. I think they won the DFB Pokal Cup last season in Germany. So let's have a look. Let's just quickly click onto them. Hold on, bear with me 1 second. Here we go. So Eintracht Frankfurt. Let's have a look. sports club, of course, based in the city of Frankfurt. Just going to share this other screen with you guys. Bear with me 1 second. Apologies. A little bit out of practice with this. Here we go. For those of you, of course, listening on the audio, I'll be sharing with you what I'm reading. So Eintracht Frankfurt, also known as Die Adler, which means the Eagles. They play at the Commerzbank Arena, capacity 51,500. Adi Hutter is the manager. They finished 7th in the Bundesliga last season, which is a decent finish, of course. Let's just quickly have a look at their honours, because if I'm not mistaken, I think that they did win something a little while ago. Bear with me a second. Let's scroll through there. Here we go. International, no, national DFB Pokal winners 2017-18. That's right. So I said last season, I mean not last season, the season before. Still feels like we're in the 2018-19 season, but yeah. 2017-18, they were the DFB Pokal winners, which is the German equivalent of the FA Cup. So they are a side to watch. They haven't won a German championship for a long time. But they're a club who have won the UEFA Cup before, the Europa League winners in 1979, 1980. They've won the Intertoto Cup too. And they were the runners-up of the European Cup proper, so that's the equivalent of the Champions League, back in 1959, 1960. Now, as we go on, as we come closer to our games with Eintracht Frankfurt, I'll be bringing you on a German football expert to give you more detailed analysis, more detailed insight on this side. Let's look at the other teams that are, of course, in our group. Bear with me 1 second. Let's have a look at the Portuguese outfit, Vitória SC. Let's have a look at them. Let me just switch the screen over for you guys once again. Here we go. Here we go. Vitória SC, commonly known as Vitória de Guimarães. That's where you may have heard of them before. That is what they are known as. They play at the Estadio da Afonso Henriquez, capacity of 30,146. Manager is Ivo Vieira, and they finished 5th in the Primeira Liga in Portugal last season. So yeah, they wear sort of white, all white, bit like Real Madrid. But if you want to take it another way, they play in the colour of our fiercest rivals who we're taking on this weekend. So a team will be no doubt keen to beat, and a team that we should beat, really, albeit Unai Emery may well opt to pick some of the younger players in the Europa League this season. Let's have a look at our last opponent, who are Belgian outfit Standard Liège. Here we go. So Standard Liège, of course, from Belgium, a club with a capacity of 27,670 at the Stade Maurice du France. The manager, Michael Prudhomme, and they finished 3rd in the Belgian top division last season. So there's a couple of dodgy away games in there. Eintracht Frankfurt away, if you don't play your strongest team, you could be called out. Standard Liège could be a dodgy one away, and we've seen that on the road. Even under Unai Emery, things haven't been that great so far. Keep making the point that I expect some of the youngsters to play in the group stage, but I think it's important in these competitions to get off to a good start, to get off to a flyer, and then you can start to rest people and things like that. So let's go over to some of your comments. Triumph 59, welcome home, Harry. Big win Sunday will end the week off superbly. Couldn't agree more with you, mate. Simpy, Frankfurt almost beat Chelsea last season. Played really well. They lost Jovic and Haller. Not sure who they have replaced with, but come on, you Gunners. Agree. So Eintracht Frankfurt, have been a very decent side for a little while now. Still a side I expect Arsenal to beat, though. I've got to be honest. Pav Bav says nothing to be afraid of except complacency. Good point. Praveen says finally some good news for traveling fans. And Healy 007 says Europa League has got to be viewed as a development project for younger players. Yeah, I think you're right, mate. I think you're absolutely spot on. But overall, it's a group that Arsenal should progress from. It's a group I'm happy with. There's some decent away trips for those of you looking to go. Frankfurt will be a brilliant night out, I think, as will Liège in Belgium. That's not a bad one either. Vitoria, not sure about that one. Not sure about the area. Don't know really too much about them. But again, as I said, when we come closer to those games, we'll be bringing you all the expert info here, and we'll be looking into those teams in a lot more detail. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I know I wanted the break and I wanted the holiday and everything, but I was sitting there and I was thinking, I don't want to let things slip. The podcast is going really well. Lots of interaction, lots of you getting involved on a regular basis. So for that, I'm very grateful. But I'm glad to be back now, glad to be back on it, and hopefully taking things to another level. You can find the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, or Spotify. And as from next week, we'll be bringing you the fans phone in again, where you can dial in and have your say on all things Arsenal. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll be back, like I said, later on today with some in-depth preview and an in-depth look into this weekend's North London derby. So until then, take care.